Howdy there. I thought you might like to know the story of how a traveller has got on with COVID-19 in the last couple of years. I base myself in Bulgaria now, where I'm building a house, and in winter it's very cold and I have to get out because I'm on a tourist visa. So I went to Thailand in December 2019. It was supposed to be for 3 months with a trip to Hong Kong to look at some electronics for a break from my 3 months in Thailand. I'm only allowed 1 month at a time without a break. So I went to Hong Kong when COVID had just been talked about in February 2020, or late January, actually late January, early February, and I had a month in Hong Kong, or a few weeks at least. I was astounded to see the Hong Kong people lined up around the block to buy disinfectant, and I think disinfectant was all they were lined up for, and it was like ration from the chemist shops, and the lines went right around a city block. I thought they were just going around in circles for fun. So it was just quite insane to see such a reaction to buy some simple, disinfectant or something to wash their hands or wipe their hands with. Unbelievable. And so people are all crammed up together in a line on a city street, which is probably the worst thing that you'd want to do if you wanted to avoid catching flus and germs from other people. So that was quite strange. So I went back to Thailand just before the lockdown. Lockdown in Thailand started maybe a week or two after I arrived back for my last month there, I got in before the shock hit, and they decided to shut the country down. So I went to Pattaya, which was where I used to live, and rented an apartment on the beachfront, and proceeded to open a little stall selling carrot juice with a big sign, "Boost your immunity." That only lasted 3 days till I got sick of that. And then it was, a whole year in Thailand after that, where I travelled around everywhere, up to Chiang Mai and to Hua Hin. Hua Hin's where the king had his palace, on the beach south of Bangkok, down the peninsula a little bit. If you could call it a peninsula, down the lower part of Thailand, on the way to Phuket, maybe a third of the way down to Phuket from Bangkok. But there was no signs of COVID in Hua Hin when I was there, but Pattaya I noticed, I felt a little bit sick at times, but I'm fanatic on avoiding colds and flus. I have been, because I've needed to be fanatical in my job as a theatre operator and travelling cinema operator. If I couldn't afford to catch a cold and get sick, but I've got hundreds and or thousands of people lined up to buy a ticket from me. So it's someone's just got to cough on me, and if I'm not really, my immune system's not really strong, I'll catch it. So I've learned over the last 40 years to have a fasting day with just vegetable juice or fruit juice, have a rest. I always said, even when I was only about 30 or 40, that you either have a day off and a rest, or you'll get sick and you'll have a compulsory day off. So I sort of allocated time for resting and fasting, and I try and eat fruit and vegetables. I'm a best customer of the fruit and vegetable shops. They pull out the fresh stuff when they see me coming because I'm such a good customer. But I'll eat anything in moderation, like meat and chicken, and fish is okay, I guess. Lots of nuts, and I have muesli and ground nuts and seeds for breakfast. I try and have soy type milk, or milk made from almonds or something. The new trendy vegetarian milks that I put on my oats and muesli, with some fresh squeezed orange juice and lemon juice. The lemon juice I've found since COVID has been the secret, because I've hung out with some people who I've sort of had for dinner and stuff, and they've been a bit phlegmy, and I've woken up in the night with a strange violent cough. And I've just gone and made a fresh lemon juice with some hot water and drank that, and felt instantly better, and just gone back to sleep and never had a problem again. At any time I feel a bit sick, I just have lemon juice, and it seems to fix me up instantly. And anyway, so then after a year in Thailand, I thought, well, it's about time that the world got used to this. You can't lock yourself down forever. So I booked the second time I booked a flight. But I learnt the second time to research when the flight is and how much it is and everything, and then just rock up at the airport with your luggage and buy your ticket at the check-in desk. Just in case you change your mind or something goes wrong, you don't buy your ticket until you arrive at the airport, and then you can decide. Good idea if you've got a choice of a couple of airlines you can take within a few hours. So if one you don't like, you can take the next one. So anyway, I bought a business class ticket back to Sofia in Bulgaria from Bangkok. Stopped at Munich or somewhere along the way. Hamburg, I think it was. That was a bit of a drama because I bought a business class ticket, but then they proceeded to stick me on a economy flight from Germany to Sofia. So I was packed in with a whole lot of sort of Bulgarian workers on their way home. So as soon as I hopped on the flight, full of jam-packed with people, my nose started running and eyes watering. So there was something in the air that wasn't really very, very healthy. Anyway, I wore a mask. I bought a 3M mask with the professional filters, and I put a medical mask over the top of it because that's the requirement to wear a medical mask. I don't think it really helped much because I still had crazy runny nose the whole time on the plane for the 4-hour flight or whatever it was. Anyway, I rocked up in Sofia and went straight to a really good hotel. I use the internet to find hotels with the highest ratings from customers. It never fails. You always find out everything from those reviews. So I found a great bargain of a hotel with a hot bath in Sofia, and had a couple of days there to recover with hot baths and lemon drinks and fresh vegetables to eat that I make in the room. I don't go out to restaurants ever. And then rented a car and drove to my beach town where I'm building my house. And then I have a helper that works with me, and he's been vaccinated twice with AstraZeneca, but he still gets very phlegmy, and you can smell the cold on him at times. And I'm in the car with him, and my nose starts running instantly in that circumstance. And even working outside with a mask on, I still, working with someone else, I instantly started to get the runny nose and very obvious signs something's wrong, because it's unusual for me. I never catch colds and flus since I stopped drinking the tap water in Thailand about 15 years ago. I learned that lesson, and that was it. That's the last time I've caught a flu, so yeah, so that's fine. I'm able to stick to myself, cook for myself, and only have one worker to worry about. And then I went to Turkey to buy some solar panels for my camper, and I drove there, so I've got everything in the truck. I can eat in the truck, in the camper, and the PCR test where they stick the cotton wool bud up your nose to get a sample of the snot. That was like €150 in Thailand, and to get in, I needed that to get into Bulgaria. And then when I leave Bulgaria, it cost about €40 for the PCR test, and then in Istanbul to go back to Bulgaria it was about €20. But the Istanbul one was good because they come to your hotel, take the sample, and then just email you or send to your phone the test results, so you can show the phone to the border guards, and so that was the best. And then it was strange there's no showing of anything in Bulgaria to get in and out of places, but in Istanbul it was a bit annoying, where you had to sort of find some form on the internet to fill out, which was quite difficult to find before they let you use your subway plastic card, prepaid card that I had from last time. So that took me a few days to work out how to do that. And then when I had to put some credit onto the card, all of a sudden it stopped working again. So I was in the subway and some hawker come up to me, saw it, my card didn't work, and said, I'll show you how to fix it. So he took me to his friend, who took me to the toilets, and he swiped me card on the turnstile to get into the toilet, and then it worked after that. So I had to pay him like $5 or something, I don't know, for the information. That's the crummiest system I've ever seen, where your card stops working until you swipe it on the turnstile in the toilet at the subway. So that's about the weirdest, most disorganized thing I've ever seen. It's almost hilarious. And then I needed to go, and then I went to Cannes for the Cannes Film Festival, because I used to be in the cinema business, so somewhere to hang out for the 3 months where I've got to be out of Bulgaria for my tourist visa. So I needed a PCR test to go. I drove to Italy and then took the ferry across. I drove to Greece, then took the ferry across to Italy, and then drove from Italy up to Cannes in the French Riviera. But I needed the PCR test to get on the boat to go from Greece to Italy, the same one that I used to get into Italy, or get into Greece. So that was easy. And the boat trip was very good because it was very empty. There was no other tourists at all, just a lot of trucks and truck drivers. So I got like the best cabin I've ever had on a ferry ship, with a window looking out to the front of the ship, and very, very nice. It was so cheap, like just a night's accommodation was all it cost for the overnight trip. Then I had a month in Cannes and saved a fortune thanks to my camper and the new solar cells, and it give me all the power that I need for my, even run a little air conditioner because it's quite hot in summer. fridge and all the computers, and I can even cook with electric if the sun's shining. So that was great. Had a month there, swimming in the French Riviera, which is the most beautiful beaches. A little bit packed though. I'd hate to see it in normal season if that's what it's like in the ghost season when COVID's around. It was absolutely packed. Restaurants, everything's packed there. And no one seems at all worried. They're all jammed together, trying to get a glimpse of the movie stars at the red carpet and everything, and no one seems worried at all. So then I just drove to Paris, and they're starting to do, as I was told by a drinking partner in Cannes, that the French government's tired of giving out free PCR or antigen tests to all French citizens, so they're trying to get them vaccinated. So all of a sudden the PCR tests that I paid €25 for, the results didn't arrive back from the government. They put some kind of delay on it to try and get people to get vaccinated rather than PCR tests, it seems, or antigen tests. So I couldn't get into a few restaurants and things because the test results weren't sent to my phone as promised when I paid the money and took the test, which was a little bit annoying, and it must be very bad for a lot of businesses where they have to do that to their customers. So that's the story so far. And now I'm driving back to Bulgaria, and I'm just leaving France, crossing the border to Germany. Then I'll go to Vienna and Hungary and Romania and back to Bulgaria for another 3 months, building hard labour on my house. So I'll make some more videos about how to build a house and buy property in Bulgaria, and you can watch that. Okay, bye for now.